Every evening, deep in the open ocean, billions of glowing organisms begin a synchronized journey upwards through the dark. We only discovered this mass movement by accident. During World War II, Navy sonar operators routinely detected a solid acoustic barrier deep underwater. They logged it as a false bottom, but this phantom seafloor behaved strangely. It seemed to rise toward the ocean's surface at night and then sink back into the depths during the day. Marine biologists later realized that the sonar wasn't bouncing off the ocean floor at all. The sound waves were pinging off the gas-filled swim bladders of tightly packed mesopelagic fish. This military glitch unveiled a biological reality. Measured by sheer biomass, this is the largest synchronized animal migration on the planet. Scientists call this daily commute the diel vertical migration, or DVM. This chart shows the 24-hour migration cycle. At noon, the lowest point of the curve, the biomass rests deep in the Twilight Zone. As daylight fades, they climb. The data line rises steeply, showing the mass arriving at the surface around midnight. The sheer volume of life making this climb dwarfs the wildebeest herds of the Serengeti and the great bird flocks combined. It is a literal river of living tissue moving straight up. The daytime starting line for this event is the mesopelagic layer, often called the Twilight Zone. It stretches from 200 down to 1,000 meters deep. Down here, the water pressure is crushing, temperatures hover near freezing, and the last fragments of sunlight fade into absolute pitch blackness at the bottom. The creatures making this journey are perfectly adapted to the dark. Lanternfish, or myctophids, have rows of light-producing organs along their bellies to blend in with the faint light from above, and they possess the dense swim bladders that originally confused Navy sonar. They are joined by tiny teardrop-shaped crustaceans called copepods, which act as the crucial middlemen of the marine food web. Hunting them are siphonophores, long, fragile, gelatinous predators that cast wide webs of stinging tentacles. Because they live so deep, we have historically underestimated just how many of these animals exist. One resident, a small fish called the bristlemouth, is actually the most abundant vertebrate on Earth, outnumbering humans, chickens, and rats combined. Swimming hundreds of meters vertically is a massive drain on energy for animals this small. Why endure that physical toll every single day? The upper ocean is packed with microscopic food, but it is also flooded with daylight. A tiny copepod feeding at the surface at noon is highly visible to visual predators like tuna or seabirds. To avoid being eaten, they retreat into the deep, dark water as soon as the sun rises, using the gloom as a physical shield. Wading in the deep offers a secondary advantage. The freezing temperatures slow down the metabolic rates of these cold-blooded organisms, helping them conserve the energy they gained from their previous meal. This vertical marathon is a mandatory survival tactic, a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek, dictated entirely by the rising and setting of the sun. When the sun finally sets, the survivors arrive at the surface to feast under the cover of darkness. They gorge on phytoplankton, tiny plant-like organisms that spend their days absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through photosynthesis. This diagram illustrates the biological carbon pump. Looking at the top section, migrators rise to feed on surface phytoplankton, ingesting that trapped atmospheric carbon. When daylight returns, the animals dive. As downward arrows indicate, they transport this carbon deep below the ocean's mixing layer. Once they reach the Twilight Zone, the migrators process their meals. They respire carbon dioxide into the deep water, excrete heavy, fast-sinking fecal pellets, and eventually die. The physical result is a phenomenon scientists call marine snow. It is a continuous, slow-motion blizzard of organic carbon falling through the pitch-black water. This active transport system bypasses the slow surface currents, depositing atmospheric carbon directly into the deep ocean, where it stays locked away for centuries. If these animals stopped making their nightly climb, much of that carbon would remain at the surface and cycle right back into the air.